Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 position 5s in Dota in 7.34. So without further ado, let's talk about the support heroes you should be picking if you want to gain MMR. Also, if you guys are interested in more 7.34 content and want to get a jump on the patch, over on the Game League website, it's currently 50% off, but over on the Game League website, I'm going to be making a ton of content basically talking about the new builds that you can go, the new heroes you can try, and all the new strategies you can use for this new patch. So if you're interested in that, this is the time to sign up. This is currently 50% off. All you got to do is use the code SUMMER in the checkout. And yeah, hope to see you guys there. Click the link down below. And let's get back into the video. All right, so let's start off with a couple of honorable mentions, heroes that I think are pretty good, but just barely didn't make the list. Starting off, we have Lich. I think Lich is a pretty well-rounded hero right now that does a lot. Buy the shard, click your ulti, and also at level 20 it has Chain Frost on Death, which is a really funny but also good talent that you can eventually get. The second support that is an honorable mention is Silencer. Silencer has been nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and yet it still does a ton of damage. It's a pretty good lane, and it has teamfight. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of a Silencer pick if you don't know what to pick. I kind of see Lich and Silencer as similar, where these heroes are not extremely good at anything, right? I just feel like they're very well-rounded heroes that do a lot of damage, right? You're not going to be like, oh, I'm useless, I picked X hero. I feel like Silencer and Lich typically can do things, you know, in any game. And same thing for Dawnbreaker. I really like Dawnbreaker, and she's the last honorable mention as a support. They just buffed this hero quite a bit, and it's just kind of one of those supports where you're going to get a lot of farm and get a lot of items and provide value that way. You're a good laner who then farms up, right? You want to take whatever farms given to you, whatever lane creeps are left by your carries and your cores. You're going to scoop that up and purchase items like Holy Locket, Mech, and eventually Ags to heal up your team and have a lot of impact. So these are the 3 heroes that I recommend. All right, getting into the 5th best hero in Dota right now for the position 5 role. And it's actually unbelievable to me that I'm saying this, but it's very cool. The most improved win rate hero of the patch is actually a hero I had to put on the offlane tier list. It's now on the 5 tier list, and actually on Pro Tracker, I'm looking at the games because I'm like, I want to see what people are buying on this hero for the offlane. But every game is a support game, 4 or 5. And that's Nature's Prophet. Like, I'm not kidding. Look at Pro Tracker. It's just support, 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 and all of them are maxing Sprout. They all max Sprout, and almost all of them, to some extent I actually think incorrectly, but almost all of them are maxing Sprout and Teleport. I do believe that there is some value in skilling Treants. I believe that some players should be skilling Treants over Teleport depending on the game. Why in the world is this hero winning as a support? It's not only winning in your average pub, it's also winning in high MMR games. Why is it winning? It really does just come down to Sprout. Now, Nature's Prophet for a long time has actually been somewhat seen as a support hero. Think back to OG versus LGD and TI, right? It was in game 5 of that match, support Nature's Prophet, but that was with Necromonicon 1. It was picked to shove waves and win the lane. But yeah, now still, it's a lane winner. Why? Because it has good base stats, good attack range, and Sprout just does a ton of damage. And if the enemy wants to get out of Sprout, or if they want to get out of Sprout, they either have to aid a Tango or buy a Quelling Blade. You know how many people are going to buy Quelling Blade against Nature's Prophet on range heroes? Basically 0, right? Until they watch a bunch of Game League videos to understand that that's probably a good idea. They're going to eat Tangos to get out of the Sprout. You know what? Want to know why that's not a good idea? Because in 7.34, they made it where you don't get regen if you eat a Sprout tree. And that's why this is so good. People don't understand it. That is why this is so good. You Sprout them, which is gonna get them trapped and can get them killed. And if they want to get out, they either need to spend gold on a useless ass Quelling Blade, or they have to waste their Tangos. It's a lose-lose. Really, it's a catch-22. And so that's why it's good, man. At least in the laning stage. Good laner, Sprout's broken. When you hit level 3, it does so much damage. And then from there, you buy blood grenades, you click Sprout on people, you do a ton of damage, and you teleport on people with blood grenades. Help your safe laner do well in the early levels, and then you can honestly look to take water runes. You can look to take bounty runes. I wouldn't leave the lane too early necessarily. Definitely make sure your safe laner's off to a good start and it's okay. That's probably more important than anything. But yeah, you can TP to the other lanes and just kill them with Sprout. They don't have a Quelling, they don't have Tangos, they'll just die. It does too much damage. Its ability's insane. You might be like, oh, but I can't farm. I can't push it in waves. You can. You can. Sprout just does so much damage at max level. And apparently, according to someone in the comments, it does even more damage than I think. I was saying it does 384 based on math, but apparently it does more than that. Either way, it nearly fully clears a wave. And so as support Prophet, yeah, you can clear waves and you can jungle with Sprout. It's insanely good, guys. It's insanely good. Also, teleport on Wisdom runes, guys. That shit's OP. In terms of items, buy a Solar Crest that's going to slow people in your Sprout, and then go Axe. I've seen some people go Atos to keep people in Sprout if they try to tango out, which is like cool and cute, and you're an intelligence hero, so you get damage and it gives you some HP, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure you should just buy an Axe. It roots everyone in a team fight for like typically 3 seconds if you cast it well. Yes, it does soak up quite a bit of farm if you do that on the map, and that can kind of suck to some extent. It's good for you. For everyone else, it's not so good. But yeah, you can solo kill supports with Sprout plus Axe, and then eventually your Shard, like you unironically just solo kill supports. It's pretty crazy. All right, getting into the 4th hero, we have Undying. I'm really not going to spend a lot of time on Undying because this hero actually got nerfed. It got decay cooldown nerf, base damage nerf. It got a soul rip buff, which is funny. But yeah, it's worse. So why is it on this list, you might ask? Well, it's still very good. To keep it simple, I want to put new heroes, but I also want to make this list as objective as I can, right? Really my opinion on what is good, not what is cool. But yeah, Undying, it's just good. Still wins the lane, still puts down Tombstone, still gives you Roach control. It's still a teamfight hero, you know? It's just good. All right, getting into the 3rd hero is Jakiro. What changed about Jakiro? Well, not much, but they gave him a very cool Ags change, and I would call Ags buff. Now there's just Ice Walls, Invoker Ice Walls on the edge of your Macro Pyre, and it's a thick Macro Pyre, really thick Macro Pyre when you drop it down with the Ags. Now, I don't recommend you rush it. I would either go Veil or Force Staff or Glimmer and then into Ags. I would buy some sort of early game item, get your team over the hump, and then go back for the Ags. Yeah, I really think this hero's just been good. It's been good in pubs, always has a high win rate in pubs. It does a lot of damage. It's always one of those heroes where it's like, okay, in the early game, can your team fight? Do you have a hero? Probably. With max Q, which is the build I recommend, max your Q. Please don't max your E. That shit is so bad. All it does is take towers. You literally contribute very little to fights if you do that build. I'm not a fan of that. But if you max the Q, you can farm, you can fight. With the Macro Pyre in the Q, you can nearly solo kill heroes. It's pretty impressive. And then you max Ice Path, and yeah, you're a good team fight hero. You do a lot of damage. You're a good laner. It's just, Jakiro is one of those heroes where it's like, it just does a lot of damage, and it has a stun. It's like, is this hero going to be bad? Probably not in almost any game, and that's going to make it a reliable hero. And then yeah, now you have this cool Ags that actually has incredible impact. If you get a support in it, they truly get stuck and they almost die. It's going to do about 600-700 damage to most supports, and even more if they get stunned. You know, if you hit a good Ice Path, probably more than that. So yeah, big fan of Jakiro right now. Then we have Warlock. Warlock, you might be asking, Warlock? Yeah, it's actually one of the highest win rate heroes on all of Dota buff right now. It's currently the 5th highest win rate hero in Dota. Is that pretty crazy, guys? That's pretty crazy. Right, it's only below Sand King, Witch Doctor, Riki, and Invoker. Then you have Warlock. Why is Warlock better now? Well, first of all, let's talk about its changes. Number one, the ability you want to take at level 1 on Warlock typically is Fatal Bonds. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people take the heal, which is not terrible by any means, but I actually think the Fatal Bonds is better. What you do is you just click it on the creep wave, and you click it on the enemy, and then you click a blood grenade on the creep wave and the enemy, and they take like a bajillion damage. And on top of that, if any of the creeps that are affected by Fatal Bonds die, it now summons an imp. That imp does 10 damage per hit, which is not really impressive, and it's going to do practically 0 to melee heroes because of Stout Shield block. But when it explodes, if you kill it, it does 30 damage. It's pretty good, right? It does a little bit of damage, and it's just a buff, right? There's nothing more to say besides it's a buff. And then at level 2, you can actually skill Upheaval, and if you can get the enemy in an Upheaval with Fatal Bonds, it's so much damage. It's so much damage. It's so hard to fight into. I played against this recently, a guy who maxed Fatal Bonds and Upheaval, and it really was hard. It was hard, man. And I think this is the best build to go. I think skilling the heal is kind of outdated. Yeah, obviously you can still do it if you want. Maybe you're laning with like, I don't know, Spectre or something. Even then with Spectre, I think you probably should just go Fatal Bonds, Upheaval. And what's great about doing that is like the heal in the mid to late game is quite terrible. It's not good, right? It's a quite underwhelming ability, but maxing Fatal Bonds and Upheaval, I mean, these are great mid game abilities. And you don't really need anything to enable them, so you actually could go a Midas and look to scale, get high levels in the Golems. The Golem kills very well to level 2, right? So level 12. But yeah, I mean, you can just go Glimmer, you can go Aether, so you can get off a good Upheaval. You can kind of go whatever, just, you know, Drums, Solar, Force, Glimmer, Aether if you want to be aggressive. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Fatal Bonds change. I think it's actually insane what it does in level 1. And the win rate has increased, and I don't even think people understand how to play the hero. Yeah, it's probably better than you think. But alright, getting into number 1 for the position 5 heroes is Witch Doctor. Oh, it's unbelievable to say that. I love this hero. I've loved this hero. I've been playing this hero since last patch. You can literally check my pro tracker if it's still there. I've been playing Witch Doctor and I've been winning with him. And now they buffed him. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I don't think that rarely has happened to me where like I've been spamming a hero and then it gets like hyper buffed. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm like one step ahead of the, oh man, guys, take advantage of this hero. It's incredible. I love Witch Doctor right now. Why? First of all, decent laner. Okay, Blood Grenade plus Maledict, very good. And you can go 2 routes. You can max stun Maledict and it's fine. Believe that build's fine. The stun is so much better now. And if you max your stun, you can push out creep waves. You can farm if you need to. Honestly, a decent fan of maxing stun on Witch Doctor by 7. That might sound crazy, but with how good this ability is now, it actually can bounce between heroes. It used to kind of suck and you would have to max Maledict or heal to feel good, but you can use it to farm and you can use it to fight now. Sure, you know, you're only gonna have 2 points in Maledict, but I think that's okay. Go the more common route, which is 2 points stun, max Maledict by 7. Or you can go kind of the hipster build, which is maxing heal and maxing stun. Some people do that. They don't skill Maledict at all. There's also a heal Maledict build. So I'm probably overwhelming you guys a bit right now. If I have to pick one, I would recommend, for ease of use, do the stun Maledict. The heal build is kind of rough because it costs a lot of mana. I wouldn't really recommend that build too much. Death Ward is now pure, okay? Death Ward is pure. What does that mean? It means you scale. Previously, Witch Doctor would fall off. Early game, 60-second cooldown Death Ward, you'd run around, you'd kill people, especially supports. It would shred them. It did 90 damage, but it was blocked by armor, right? Heroes with high armor, Terrorblade Naga, shrugged off Death Ward, especially as the game progressed. It felt pretty bad, you know, as aura items stacked up, AC, maybe someone has a Lotus, you know, someone has a Solar, someone has a Vlad's, you know, Wraith Bands, double whatever, agility starts kicking in, your hero fell off. Now it's just pure. You don't fall off. It's the opposite. You scale better. You scale well. You're one of the best scaling heroes in the game. Hit a good stun, which is not hard to do anymore, with the stun delay being 0.1 instead of 0.3. Hit a decent Maledict, and then get a good ulti off, and you win the fight. It's just too much damage. Now, you might be saying, speed, suggest Ags. I'm kind of not a huge fan of Ags on Witch Doctor until the hyper late game. The reason why is investing 4,200 gold into something that could be instantly canceled is still suspect. What I suggest is going a utility item such as Glimmer, Force Staff, Pavis, Solar, Drums, some sort of useful item that's going to allow you to fight early, take advantage of the low cooldown of Death Ward, just be able to fight early with some useful items, buy Raindrop, buy Wand, right? Buy Mana Boots, buy even a Windlace, get active. And then when you have your Shard as well, you're going to feel great because you're going to have 2 very useful items and you're going to have your Shard. If you get Gone On, right, which is very likely because Maledict's cast range sucks, and your stun cast range sucks. But the Shard, even though it was nerfed, is still great, and it does pure damage. So if you stun and hit Maledict, instead of just dying, casting Death Ward, or getting Death Ward instantly canceled, you click your Shard, and for 3 seconds, you get a nerfed version of Death Ward, but it's still very good. And so yeah, that's the build I recommend. I see a lot of people rushing Ags. The only time I think Ags Rush is good is if for some reason the enemy team lacks backline cancel, and then it's like, okay, but yeah. Can the Ags own? Yes. Do I recommend rushing it? No. People are going to hit on me for that. They're going to be like, but Speed, I literally killed a whole team and my carry sucks and my offlane sucks and my mid sucks and my whole team always sucks and I'm so unlucky and I have no luck in life and my pub teammates are the worst. So I have to 1v9. It's like, bro, why are you even playing support? Just role queue a different role. Just play a different role. What are you doing? If you think you need to carry the game, just play carry. If you might be like, oh, but I like playing support. I don't know, just still buy useful items. You'll carry the game with just buy early game items and win the early game. That's what you're supposed to do. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you disagree with any of my takes, I'd be happy to hear in the comments. If you've been playing any hero that you really think is good right now and you want to share it with the community, leave that in the comment section down below as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. And that's all. But remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below. And I'm out. Peace.